All right, so first of all, tell me how you're doing.
I'm not doing so well because I'm not being treated fairly by the court system
In what way?
and concerning the charges against me.
Well, how do you feel about those?
Those charges I feel are not correct, and I feel remorse for what happened, and I'm sorry that what happened was a tragedy, but it was an accident at the end of the day. And I did not intentionally or willingly commit any of that. The cab driver ran the stop sign, and we had an accident. Yes, I left the scene, and I'm willing to accept responsibility for leaving the scene of an accident.
So let me just ask you. They say you were speeding, that you had veered around a fire truck. What about all that?
That's not true, and I was not reckless driving. I wasn't drinking or anything.
You had not been drinking before.
No,
Okay, and were you speeding?
I might have been doing about 45.
Because they say you were going close to 70.
I don't believe so.
And your story is that you were just that the cab pulled out in front of you,
Yes, he had a stop sign, and he was more in a rush than I was.
and he pulled right out in front of you. You're
Right,
saying.
and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even hit my brakes. There's no skid mark or anything.
And you left. Let's go over that because when you told me before that you left the scene, did you? Is that still what your story is? That you left?
Yes, I left the scene because I was afraid, and I knew I would be treated the way I'm being treated now, unjustly. All I ask is to be treated fairly.
And what about this whole thing that you were shot at before? Is that still what you're saying, or?
Yes, that was several blocks away. They expected to be like right then and there on that same location. That ain't what happened. That's why they're trying to say I'm lying, which what they said in '87. Nobody believes when I tell a story.
So somebody was chasing you,
No, somebody had shot at me and I left. I jumped in my car and left.
and that made you nervous.
Yes, it did.
Did you, when you got out of the scene, were you injured? Were you hurt at all, or what did you do exactly after when at the scene?
Well, I basically got out my car, looked at myself, and began to walk because I was scared. I did not run or anything. I just literally walked
And why did you walk away?
because I was afraid.
Of what?
Afraid of not knowing the consequences of anything. Like I said, I always be judged wrong in the eyes of the law.
And why did you go? Why did you go to Pennsylvania?
Because after I seen what happened, I did not know what occurred at the moment. And I've seen it on the news. I went to Pennsylvania so I can get my attorney and everything together, which is why I surrendered once I had an attorney.
And why did you go to Pennsylvania?
Just to get away from anything so I wouldn't be locked up before contacting anyone.
How do you feel that you've been portrayed, and what's this done?
I feel real bad because I've been portrayed as a monster, a murderer, and everything, and it's sad, and it's sad that what happened, and like I said, I extend my remorse to the family, the friends, and the whole Jewish community. But it was an accident. It wasn't nothing intentional. It was an accident.
And the fact that they've upgraded the charges to vehicular manslaughter. I mean, you're looking at, with your record, you're looking at potentially 25 years in prison.
Exactly, which is why I feel unjustly. I feel I'm not being treated fairly.
What do you?
It was an accident. If you look at other cases, no one has ever been in this predicament as myself. I'm being judged differently.
Well, they say you were speeding and driving recklessly, and
Well, that's not true. Driving recklessly, that's not true. If you look at the car, it's straight on a narrow path. I couldn't do nothing. The car jumped in front of me.
and again, you say you might have been driving fast, but not that fast.
Not exactly.
Okay. And what about, had you been drinking? Did you leave the scene because you'd been drinking?
Not at all.
You had nothing to drink that night?
Not at all.
And what about that drunk driving thing a couple of weeks before?
And that incident was an incident where I had 2 beers.
And you were charged with drunk
I
driving.
was charged with, and I never got pulled over for that incident. I actually went to the police officer and was discussing something with him, and then they locked me up. I wasn't pulled over for DWI.
Because everybody's made such a big deal about your record, you know,
Exactly.
your criminal record.
And that's why I feel I'm not being treated fairly. Because they're going on criminal history instead of dealing with the matter at hand. It was an accident. And I'm sorry for what took place. Once again, I show my remorse to the family and the whole Jewish community.
What
It
about,
was an accident.
yeah, what about, I mean, I know this has been incredibly tough on your family. What,
Yes, it has. My child, even often speaks to me and say, Daddy, why they make you look like that? You're not like that.
I know you're a stay-at-home dad,
Yes.
and
My kids, I took care of my kids the best as I can.
what do you want people to, you know, we talked about this before, but what do you want people to know?
I want people to know that I send my remorse. I'm not a monster, a menace, or anything that they are portraying me to be. I'm a human being, and I just want to be treated fairly.
And you think you're not.
Exactly.
Do you think that it's because this case has gotten so much publicity?
Yes. Yes, I do. And my criminal history, which really shouldn't have anything to do with an accident.
How are you being treated there? I mean, how are other people treating you, and how...
Oh, farther than here, I'm okay.
Are you getting, have there been threats or anything, and how's...
No, not at all.
Not at all. Are you worried about going back to prison?
Well, yes, I am.
I mean, because, you know, it's a pretty...
I'm definitely worried. That's why I want to be treated fairly. I'm willing to accept responsibility right now for leaving the scene of an accident because that's what I did do.
And
Anything else I did not do intentionally.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah. And you feel horrible for the family. You're saying you didn't even know about it at the time.
Correct. Until I seen the news like everyone else.